All right, let's talk about a huge problem facing retailers today. You know you need to innovate, you have to keep up. But the very system that runs your business, well, it feels like it's holding you hostage. It's a classic tech standoff, and honestly, the stakes have never been higher.
And this quote, wow, it just perfectly captures that feeling, doesn't it? It's like you're caught between a rock and a hard place. The market is screaming at you to change, but the price tag for that change looks absolutely crushing. So what do? How do you get out of this mess?
So let's really dig into what this crossroads looks like. See, modern retail is all about data. It's about AI. It's about giving your customer this amazing, seamless experience, whether they're online or in your physical store. But the problem is, the ERP systems that most companies are built on, they were designed for a totally different era. They're good at managing inventory and processes, sure, but they were never built for this new customer-first world. And that's the irony, right? The very engine that helped you grow is now this massive anchor, just weighing you down.
To really get a handle on the problem, we have to look past that initial price tag. And the concept you absolutely need to understand is this one, total cost of ownership, or TCO. You know, it's kind of like buying a car. The sticker price is just where it starts, right? You still got gas, insurance, repairs, maintenance, all of that. TCO is the exact same thing for your software. It is every single dollar you will spend on it over its entire life. And trust me, most of that cost is completely hidden. The best way to think about it is like an iceberg. That big license fee you paid up front, that's just the tip. What you don't see lurking below the surface are all these massive hidden costs just waiting to sink your budget. You've got the annual maintenance fees, which are often a huge chunk of the original list price, not even what you paid. And then there's my favorite, what I call the growth penalty. Every time you grow, hire a new employee, open a new shop, bam, you get hit with another user fee. You're literally getting penalized for your own success. This is the stuff that bleeds your innovation budget dry.
But you know, this isn't just about the money, as painful as that is. The bigger, scarier problem might actually be what we call the functionality chasm. And that's this giant, gaping hole between what your old clunky system can do and what the world of new retail actually needs it to do. And that chasm, it's getting wider every single day. And this slide really lays it all out. Get this. Data from iResearch says a staggering 78% of retailers are dealing with unsynchronized inventory. I mean, think about that. That's when a customer buys something on your website that was actually sold in the store an hour ago. That's a terrible experience, and it's all because of these data silos. On top of that, these old systems have closed APIs, which is just a techie way of saying they don't like to talk to modern tools. You want to connect a new AI tool or a modern CRM? Good luck. The bottom line is, these systems are fantastic at telling you what sold last Tuesday, but they are completely useless at helping you predict what your customers will want tomorrow. So, you're at the crossroads. Your system is expensive, and it can't do what you need it to do. What now? Well, big picture, you've really got 3 strategic paths you can go down. Let's break them down one by one. Path number 1 is what feels like the safe choice. You just stick with the vendor you already have and buy their latest upgrade. And look, on the surface, I get it. It seems less risky, right? Your team knows the software, it's probably the fastest option, and you feel like you're protecting that big investment you made years ago. But, and this is a big but, you're not actually solving anything. The core problems, the crazy high costs, the closed-off system, they're all still there. You're just kicking the can down an even more expensive road and locking yourself in even tighter with that vendor. Okay, path number 2. This is the superhighway option. You go all in. You rip everything out and switch to one of the giant top-tier international systems. The power you get is incredible, no doubt about it. World-class features, an open system that can do anything. But this road is paved with gold, and it's your gold. The cost is astronomical, and the implementation can drag on for a year, maybe even 18 months. Plus, you often have to totally change how you do business just to fit into their software. It is a massive, high-risk, but potentially high-reward bet. And then we have path 3, which is the more modern, balanced approach, switching to a high-value, cloud-based ERP. These are the newer kids on the block, built on a SaaS model, software as a service. So you're basically paying a monthly subscription, not some giant fee up front. The huge win here? It's way more cost-effective, and you can get up and running so much faster. You get a modern, flexible system without breaking the bank. Now, what's the catch? Well, the brand name might not be as famous, and if you have super complex global operations, they might not have every single bell and whistle that the giants do. Okay, 3 very, very different paths. So how in the world do you choose? Well, the key here is to stop relying on gut feelings and start using a clear, logical, data-driven framework. We're going to build a compass that will point you in the right direction. We can break this huge decision down into 4 key areas. First up, financial cost. We're giving this a massive 40% weighting because, let's be honest, solving that TCO problem is why we're here in the first place. Next, functional fit at 30%. In other words, can the system actually do what we need it to do for modern retail? And then we split the rest between technological outlook, is the system built for the future, and implementation risk. This weighting gives us a really clear strategic focus. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Let's look at a simulated scorecard to see how this all shakes out. And when you run the numbers, the result is pretty striking. Path 1, just upgrading what you have, scores dead last. It fails on cost, it fails on function, it fails on tech. Path 2, the big international player, scores great on tech and function, but its awful score on cost just pulls the whole thing down. And then you have Path 3, the high-value cloud ERP, and it comes out as the clear winner. It absolutely crushes it on cost and scores really well everywhere else. It's the most balanced, strategic, and frankly, the smartest choice based on our framework. So the data points to a very clear recommendation. The best journey forward means making a change. So the hard decision is over. Now it's all about turning that decision into a real actionable plan.
And let's not forget what's at stake here. The prize at the end of this journey. Following this path doesn't just get you a better system. Our analysis shows it can lead to over 40% in long-term cost savings. Now, that's not just money you're saving. That's capital you can finally reinvest into what actually matters. Your products, your marketing, real growth. You're shifting resources from just keeping the lights on to actually innovating.
And look, this doesn't have to be some 2-year-long nightmare project. A switch like this can be broken down into a totally manageable 6-month plan. You start with planning and prep, move to building and migrating your data. Then you test and train your people. And finally, you go live with full support. A clear plan like this takes the fear out of it and turns a giant transformation into a series of steps you can actually achieve. So we'll end with a question, one for you to really think about. Your ERP system, it's the heart of your business. It should be the powerful engine that's propelling you forward, giving you the speed and the insight you need to win. So the real question you have to ask yourself when you look at your own system today is it still that engine, or has it become the anchor that's holding you back from where you truly need to go?